Good day and welcome to ENN, the Expat News Network, your global news connection. Let's get right into the news of today. Strengthening U.S. sanctions on China, a call for more effective measures. By Jeff Powell, Asia Times, June 2024. Since 2018, the United States has imposed sanctions on approximately 1,500 Chinese companies and individuals. However, these measures, according to a former Trump-era trade official, lack the potency needed to prevent Chinese firms from supplying dual-use products to Russia and accessing American technologies. The need for robust sanctions. A former Assistant Secretary for Industry and Analysis at the U.S. Department of Commerce's International Trade Administration, ITA, Nazak Nikaktar, argues that current U.S. sanctions can be easily circumvented. Entities under sanctions can hide behind layers of shell companies or hold minority stakes to evade detection. Nikaktar, now a partner at wwIII LLP, suggests that the U.S. government should implement sectoral sanctions to more effectively penalize those aiding Russia's military efforts in Ukraine. By targeting specific sectors, these sanctions would be harder to evade. Financial institutions and red flags. Nikaktar emphasizes the importance of monitoring financial transactions. She notes that suspicious activities, such as a sudden influx of millions of dollars, should alert banks to potential sanction violations. The U.S. government can use these red flags to identify and act against suspect companies. Sectoral sanctions, a historical perspective. The U.S. Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control, OFAC, introduced the Sectoral Sanctions Identifications List, SSI list, in 2014 following Russia's annexation of Crimea. This list has expanded significantly since the war in Ukraine began in 2022, targeting key players in Russia's financial and energy sectors. Despite these measures, some Russians and Chinese nationals have managed to circumvent sanctions. Nikaktar believes current U.S. sanctions on Russia and China are too narrow, allowing for systems to be created to bypass them. She criticizes the Biden administration for not making a significant impact with their sanctions and suggests an alternative approach is necessary. Challenges in sanctioning Chinese entities. Since the U.S.-China trade war started in 2018, about 1,500 Chinese entities have been sanctioned for various reasons, including supporting Russia's war efforts, human rights violations, and cyber attacks. However, these sanctions often take a long time to be implemented, as seen with the year-long investigation into Hong Kong firms supplying drone parts to Russia. The risk of sanctioning Chinese banks. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has indicated that the U.S. might sanction Chinese financial institutions involved in transactions that support Russia's military. Although some Chinese banks have already stopped accepting payments from Russia, a U.S. official stated in April that there were no immediate plans to sanction Chinese banks. Nikaktar suggests that the threat of sanctions on Chinese banks is a significant risk for China, given the country's slow progress in reducing its reliance on the U.S. dollar amid economic challenges. Combining multiple tools for maximum impact. Nikaktar advocates for a multifaceted approach, combining sanctions with tariffs and import restrictions to maximize economic impact. She believes the U.S. has enough intelligence on Chinese and Russian transactions to impose effective sanctions on significant entities. Expanding sanction coverage. The U.S. has recently broadened its sanctions against Chinese firms. For instance, the Treasury Department sanctioned Hong Kong-based V-Power Finance Security for transporting Russian-origin gold. The firm's clients include major Chinese banks and the Hong Kong government. Export controls on chips. The Biden administration has tightened export controls to limit China's access to advanced U.S. chips. However, China still obtains these chips through third countries or smugglers. In response, the U.S. revised export control rules in March to restrict China's access further. Nikaktar highlights the need for careful scrutiny of financial transactions involved in chip exports, suggesting a phased approach to licensing and verification of trade legitimacy. The need for a strategic overhaul. Nikaktar calls for deregulation of export rules for U.S. allies and restructuring the chip supply chain to reduce dependence on China. She stresses the importance of overestimating China's technological capabilities to develop a robust national security policy. By rethinking and enhancing its sanction strategies, the U.S. can achieve a more significant economic impact on China and better protect its national interests.
Thank you for joining us on Expat News, where we bring you the latest updates and stories from around the world. If you enjoyed our broadcast, please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay connected and never miss an update. Your support is vital to our growth and success, and we are grateful for your participation in building our community. Thank you for being with us, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Stay informed, stay connected, and stay safe.